You've got a YouTube channel and you want to spice it up with a bit of motion graphics. Here's what to use, how to use them, and you can download all of these in the description. First, simpler is better. We want our videos to look high-end, but they will look cheaper if we fill them with wacky graphics and COD montage effects all over the place. The graphics should enhance the video, not overtake it and detract from it. Now, I've made these in a simple and as universal style as I could inside After Effects so that you can suit them to your own needs, and you could do some of these in Premiere, but After Effects offers way more versatility if you're willing to get your hands just a little bit dirty. So, an intro sequence. Honestly, you don't need one. I made one and then I stopped including it in my videos and not one person noticed. Now I think it kind of slows down the beginning of my older videos. If you do use one, make it quick. Mine was 6 seconds long and that was way too long. YouTube is a bloodbath for attention, so you don't want to give your audience any excuse to swap over to a more cutting edge, entertaining channel.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But you'll probably need a full screen title. Here's one you can use. It has a simple animation, just the position going up, and an optional number if you want to use it as a list. You can turn the background layers off, just make sure it's readable on whatever footage you choose. And don't be afraid to blur the background if you need just a bit more legibility. Now, to get graphics tracked in your shot, it is super easy to track simple camera moves in After Effects. Here's the speed run. Select your footage, add the 3D camera effect, it will do some thinking, and now little tracking markers stuck to your footage means it's working. Click create camera, and then make sure your graphics layer is a 3D layer and move that where you need it around in 3D space. Easy as that. If there's one thing that's great to reinforce your opinion and make it look like you know what you're talking about, it's by having what you say shown on screen. Even better if it was said by someone else. And what better way to assert that even further than with bullet points. Here's a full screen of points, keep them few in number and short of length. You don't want your video turning into a bad PowerPoint presentation. A half screen version works too. It's just harder to hide the jump cuts in your edit when you can't hide behind the graphic. Now, lower thirds, these are the overlays of names and titles in the corner. Now, if you're the only person on the channel, these probably aren't necessary, but if you've got guests or you want to turn it into a running joke, they could be useful. Make it large enough to read, but not take up the whole screen. And again, simpler is better. Transitions, these are the worst offenders at throwing subtlety out the window. A cut is pretty much fine in any context, but if you do want to add that little bit of flavor without going overboard, you can use a match cut to tie in the motion between two scenes or add further context. And if you want to learn about those, I've got a video all about it that I will link at the end of this one. Now, I've been using copyrighted music all throughout this video. Surely I'm going to get copyright striked to oblivion. No, not with the help of this week's sponsor, Licked. Now, normally licensing popular music that is popular enough for your audience to have heard of it is going to cost you a pretty penny. Definitely enough to make you make this expression. But with Licked, you can get well-known songs for as little as $8. This also saves you time in the edit, working to a track that you already know. Not imagining some ideal track and then having to settle for some stock asset that doesn't quite work, so you have to squeeze and jam it and massage it all together that takes hours, and it's never quite as good as what you imagined at the beginning. But I'm glad to say, those days are over. You can get a subscription to their stock library too, so it can be your one-stop shop for all your audio needs. Now, they've got modern hits that I'm sure the kids out there are enjoying to some extent, but I'm really there for the 80s pop classics.
Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do.
So if you want to improve your video quality by having the best audio and the best track selection, Licked have you covered. Get 50% off your first chart track and 60 days of free stock music using the link down in the description.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
The like and subscribe reminder. I don't think you should use them, but I don't have any data to back up that they don't work. But to me, it comes across as a little condescending.
Alright dummy, just click here, then click here, and hand the iPad back to a grown-up.
Now, I know the point is to encourage your audience in a less intrusive way, but I'm just not sure it's convincing anyone. But who knows though, maybe it will increase likes by over 9,000%. Let's test with this video.
20.
A framed image helps particularly if the image you want to show isn't quite high res enough, and that by showing it full screen you would expose its lack of pixels. Putting it in a frame of sorts like this just makes it seem like more of a deliberate choice. A bit like looking at it in an art gallery. The same with videos or GIFs. Look how much more prestigious this looks than this. But low quality graphics can also be a shortcut to humor as well. I think especially because they are quite relatable and also more absurd, so don't be afraid to lean into that a little bit if you think that will suit your style.
What are ads? If these are called ads, then what are subtracts?
If you're doing interviews, a lockup like this can be really useful. A full screen of high resolution footage is obviously great, but to make poorer quality sort of online Zoom recordings a bit more palatable, if you put them in that context, it might be able to help, and it will give you more camera angles if you want to emphasize points, or just to keep the flow interesting. Now, if you want to learn how to really spice up your videos and animations with this illegal technique and master your match cuts, you want to check out this next video.
Listen to your heart.
98,677, 98,678, 98,679, 98,680.